A very good afternoon to all of you. I hope I'm visible as well as audible. Hello, everyone. I think you guys, like some of you, are already here. Good afternoon, Vaishnavi. Your name is Jasia? Good afternoon, Drishti. Hi, Avi. Good afternoon, Sanchit. Hello, Priya. Good afternoon, Ruchi. Ruchi, is this your very first class? Good afternoon, Aishwarya. Hi. Okay. Hi, Vedant. How are you? So let's start with today's class. I'm still not well. But yeah, hoping, keeping my fingers crossed that I'll get well soon. And yeah, let's start with today's class. I saw like one of the comments on Shazli ma'am's video that some of you wanted me to discuss different tones as well, right? So today I tried to incorporate that as well. And yeah, we'll basically talk about the different passages and we'll also discuss the tone. Okay? So, good afternoon, Hariom. Hi, Prachiti. Good afternoon, Dhananjay. Okay, Ruchi. That's the reason, probably. Okay. So, let's start with the words. Just a second. Give me a moment here. So, as you can see, we are here to discuss high frequency words, article analysis. By the way, I found two foreign phrases in one of the editorial articles, and I thought that it could be really useful for you because these are commonly seen foreign phrases in the exams. ठीक है? Good afternoon, Preetham. Hi. So let's start with the first word of the day. And the first word of the day, it's not really a word, it's basically an idiom. ठीक है? तो आपने लोकोक्तियां और मुहावरे इनके बारे में सुना होगा ना तो weather the storm when you weather the storm it basically means you reach the end of a very difficult situation without too much harm or damage. For example, suppose you have taken up a hike, ठीक है, that too on a very steep mountain, and no matter what the climate is, you still managed to climb on top of that mountain. So you have basically weathered the storm. Suppose you are in poor shape for a few months, like you can say 2, 3 months. It has been 2, 3 months, and you have really not felt like yourself. And somehow you manage to come out of that situation. That means you have weathered the storm. Okay, so it's an idiom. And how can you use it in a sentence? Bob lost his job. Obviously, losing a job means something which is very, very critical, very, very serious for somebody. But somehow his family weathered the storm. That means, although they did not have that much money, probably they were not even financially stable, but somehow they managed to come out of that situation without much harm or damage. ठीक है? I want you guys to use weather the storm in your own examples and I'll read it out. ठीक है? Moving to the next one. The next word for the day is rested. I think we have all heard rested, but what is wrested then? So, rested is another verb, and it basically means when you forcibly pull something from a person's grasp. And generally, I think that happens when there is a sibling fight. Don't you think? तो आप किसी चीज को लेके खींचातानी कर रहे होते हो and that is basically you are resting it. This word can be related to wrestling. Okay, wresting. So when you forcibly pull something from somebody's grasp, that is you wresting the thing. Okay, hi Ashima. Now let's see the example. Leela tried to wrest her arm from his hold. That means this guy might have held her hand really tight. तो उसने अपना हाथ खींच लिया. ठीक है? Similarly, what else can we wrest from other people? Probably clothes, or probably a chocolate that we would like to eat and somebody else has taken it, तो हम उससे छीन सकते हैं वो चीज. ठीक है? So let me use it in an example here. I wrested the box of brownies. How many of you love brownies? From her hands. Sometimes I feel exhausted. Somehow I come out of it. Okay, Drishti will use it a little differently. Sometimes I feel exhausted, but then I weather the storm pretty efficiently. Avi, you have wonderfully used the word albeit. Albeit your bad health, you weathered the storm to take the class. Of course. Exactly, Avi. Lovely example. The next one is catapulting. By the way, catapult is a वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वेबसाइट. 3 वेबसाइट्स है कैटापुल्ट के नाम से. उनमें से एक वेबसाइट है जिसपे आपको आर्टिकल्स मिल जाएंगे ऑफ डिफरेंट जॉनर्स. ठीक है. एंड आई वुड वांट यू गाइस टू एक्सप्लोर दैट बिकॉज वेन एवर यू आस्क मी अबाउट डाइवर्स रीडिंग के लिए बहुत ही अच्छी वेबसाइट है. अभी क्लैट 2024 के जो सैम्पल पेपर्स रिलीज हुए थे, वन ऑफ द पैसेजेस वॉज फ्रॉम कैटापुल्ट मैगजीन. ठीक है. So now, what exactly is catapulting? Catapulting basically is a gerund. Gerund का मतलब ये होता है कि when a word has ing, but it is not really a verb. It acts like a noun in a sentence. Okay? So gerund will always behave like a noun in a sentence. And it basically means to throw somebody or something suddenly and with great force. आप बोल सकते हो कि, for example, I have picked up a sack of potatoes, okay, and I have catapulted it. ठीक है? So catapulting the sack of potatoes, that means I have suddenly and with great force thrown it away. ठीक है. Her career was catapulting ahead. That means her career was basically right in front of her, and obviously she had to be forceful about it. Otherwise, obviously, she'll probably fail. He wrested the letter from my grasp. Very good example, Drishti. Prachiti has given another example. My little brother wrestling. Okay, my little brother wrested and torn my lovely book. Yesterday, my friend wrested my rose and she gave it to another friend. Naman, are we talking about Happy Rose Day here? When the CEO was talking about how he weathered the storm, when he was defamed, the room was palpable of silence. Very good, Vaishnavi. I think you have, in a very efficient way, used most of the high frequency words that we have discussed so far. That also means that you remember them. Lovely. Hi, Saksham. And Priya has given us another example. I wrested lots of knowledge from newspaper. See, that's another wonderful usage. The bully rested his back and catapulted him on the other side of the corridor. Sometimes I feel you don't even need me. You guys give such lovely examples. So yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. One more example here. Viraj. Viraj is catapulting. Of the heavy table made me wonder of his immense strength. They catapulted rocks towards the castle. Very good. He catapulted to fame after his first book was published. Great example, Ankit. And Aishwarya's example is I wrested my chocolate from my sister's hands because chocolates are something which I love the most. I think we all do. Okay. Lovely examples. Moving to the next one. Quashing something. Quashing का मतलब क्या होता है? Quashing is a verb. To say that an official decision is no longer true or legal. Okay, that means something that has been decided officially has been, आप बोल सकते हो, rejected in a way, or as you can say, quashing or quashed. Like, he was also convicted for another offense. That means, obviously, he must have done some other offense in the past. अब ये second offense के लिए भी he was convicted. But that conviction was quashed. Okay, that means that conviction was deemed as no longer true or legal. That means he basically was scot free. Okay, so yes, Ankit, exactly. That has been deemed as invalid. It's no longer in use. Very good. We can also call it invalid. Okay. She quashed her manager's decision. By putting down her papers. What is the meaning of putting down your papers? Any idea? Seeing a person catapulting in his or her career, we should respect them. Exactly, Laksh. And he catapulted all of the bad experiences after he realized they were not worthy. Very good, Priya. It actually requires a little bit grammatical change, but the sentence is top tier. So moving forward, the teacher quashed my request to sit with my best friend. Vaishnavi, do you really think your teacher would allow you to sit with your best friend? Due to the cohesive bond and constant bickering, obviously, with your best friends, every day is a party. So as you can see, the appeal court has quashed the convictions of all 11 people. Very good. The next one is delineate. And let me tell you one thing. This particular word makes an entrance every now and then in the questions, in the mocks. Mocks में इस word को बहुत ज़्यादा use किया जाता है and the reason is pretty simple. Look at its meaning. ठीक है? To describe or draw something in great detail. I want you to delineate the process through a diagram. समझ में आया कुछ? That means you will describe something in great, precise detail. And that's the reason many people actually do not know the meaning of delineate. इसका मतलब यही होता है कि किसी चीज को बहुत अच्छे से explain करना. ठीक है? The characters in the story were carefully delineated. That means they were very carefully designed and also portrayed. She, per se, quashed her legal documents. Very good, Avi. That means you have used per se and you have used quashed. I hope you guys remember the meaning of per se. It means by itself, right? Very good. I delineated everything that I knew about the convict to the police. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? That I described with great detail everything that I knew about the convict. Exactly. So moving to the next one. Ma'am, you delineate every word and vocab to make us understand them. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi. I just hope that it works for both of us. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि तुम लोगों को अगर ये words याद है, तो that's basically the biggest reward, right? So moving to the next one. I told you that I found two foreign phrases and both of them have Latin origin. The first one is prima facie. कितने लोग हैं जिन्होंने already prima facie बहुत बार देख चुका है, सुन चुका है? Anyone? Once I asked ma'am about the tones and you delineated it. Exactly. Very good example, Laksh. So, exactly, to define something, to depict something, that's delineating it. Prima facie का मतलब होता है something which is true, valid, or sufficient at the first impression. Prime का मतलब यहाँ पे यही है, the first impression. ठीक है? As soon as you see it, you basically term it as true, valid, and sufficient. Okay? In the first few, exactly, Naman. The novel Power of Subconscious Mind delineates all the keys to success. God has delineated every person in our life for a reason. Oh, lovely. There is prima facie evidence that he was involved in the fraud. There's another word for it, apparent. ठीक है, apparent का मतलब क्या होता है? As soon as you see it, you know it's true, right? So that's prima facie. There is prima facie evidence. That means there is valid evidence that he was involved in the fraud. The writer knows how to delineate their stories to influence the mango people, the Aam Janta. Very good. The prima facie record was not enough for the case. That means the apparent or the valid record was not really enough. We wanted more evidences. Okay, that's prima facie. Remember this. You will probably see it everywhere. So it's a very commonly seen foreign phrase, and it has its origin from what? From Latin. The next one is inter alia. Inter alia is again a very simple and very easy to understand foreign phrase. Again, its origin is also from Latin, and it means among other things. That means, for example, it's your birthday, and your parents have agreed to buy you everything you want. So, what will you say? Inter alia, the dress, the new shoes. I also want some new makeup. I think that's for the girls. And when I talk about the boys, inter alia, the shoes and the sports gear, I also wanted to own a bike. That means, among other things, I also wanted to have this. Usage. So, your grocery list may include bread, milk, and cereal, inter alia. That means, among other things, you should also have bread, milk, and cereal in your grocery list. In prima facie, the girl was quite innocent for the teachers, but she turned out to be formidable for the students. That means, Vaishnavi, you're talking about a bully here, right? Never to judge anybody from their prima facie. Okay. From their prima facie. Now, Avi, we'll have to change that sentence a little bit. Prima facie का मतलब होता है apparent impression, right? So you can just add the word impression there. ठीक है? From their prima facie impression, that means from their apparent or valid impression. The next one is unabated. I think you guys must already know the meaning of this word. Unabated का मतलब होता है, it's by the way an adjective, and it means something which happens without becoming weaker. Okay, that means her unabated strength to fight with the disease was remarkable. That means no matter how the disease broke her, but still she did not become weak because of it. Okay, so, oh, my bad. Usage is her popularity remains unabated. That means her popularity is still as it was, it's not becoming weaker. The unabated performance was praised by the audience. The judge said, inter alia, that the time to file the action had passed. Very good. The debate kept on going unabated because both the participants were, क्या बोल सकते हैं, दोनों ही अपने अपने काम में बहुत अच्छे थे, were extraordinary, right? Weaker means kamzor, exactly. So it is basically without becoming weaker. ठीक है? I hope you have seen it, Saksham. Something that does not become weaker is unabated. ठीक है? Her unabated wisdom was a source of pure joy for her family. Okay? That's how you use unabated. Let's see the next one. Envisaging. How many of you already know this word? When you envisage something, it means what? It means you are thinking about the future and of its possibility in the future. That means you imagine something in simple terms. Okay? The popularity of Shin-chan is still unabated. Drishti, you are a big fan, I know. Inter alia, her personality, her confidence is unabated. Lovely. Two new words in the same sentence. I play cricket without becoming weaker. Saksham used the word unabated instead of using the meaning. My cricket playing skills are unabated, like that. ठीक है? Abatement is related to that, yes. I am unabatedly seeing the lecture while I'm suffering from fever. Is that true, Priya? I just hope you get well soon too. So when you imagine something, imagination jo hoti hai, it has to do with future, obviously. So when you imagine a future possibility, that's when you envisage that situation. For example, envisaging himself in the role of high priest, he was inviting the British public to become a part of the temple's congregation. That means उसने पहले से ही imagine कर लिया कि वो high priest बन चुका है. ठीक है? And that's how he started putting out the invites to the British public. I envisaged a fulfilling career. Even after being in a quagmire situation, she unabated to complete her work. She was unabated to complete her work. You can also use weathering the storm here, Avi. Okay, let me use it in another example, by the way. I envisaged a top position in my current workplace. Okay? Priya, I know because of the seasonal changes. I completely get you. I'm suffering from the same. So I just hope we both get back on our feet very quickly. Aneurysm अगर जहाँ पे भी यूज होता है इसका मतलब we are basically talking about a term related to biology and it means ballooned and weakened area in an artery. ठीक है? And it is a noun by the way. On top of all this, he has a potentially fatal aneurysm. Obviously, if your arteries balloon up, that means the chances of it bursting someday it's definitely high है ना तो aneurysm का क्या मतलब होता है when your arteries balloon up and they are weakened in that particular area तो हम देख सकते हैं on top of all this and this has been used today in the article वो music वाला जो article है जो आज हम discuss करने वाले हैं so it has been used there on top of all this he has a potentially fatal aneurysm that means an aneurysm that can actually end his life. Politicians envisage to fortify the nation inter alia. Wow. So aneurysm को कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं? His aneurysm was taking a lethal shape. That means his end was near. I envisage myself in NLU Bangalore. Lovely. I think you all envisage yourself to be in the top NLUs in the next year, and that's exactly what I also envisage for you. Albeit I'm under the weather, I unabatedly played a tournament. Okay. That shows your indomitable spirit, Naman. Let's see the last one. And it's a phrasal verb, belted out. When you belt out something, that means you sing very loudly and with enthusiasm. I think most people who are bathroom singers, they can totally relate with this phrasal verb. I hope you guys remember what are phrasal verbs, something that is in the combination of a verb and a preposition, as you can see. And it basically means when you sing out very loudly with enthusiasm, जब भी हम बहुत तेज तेज गाना गाते हैं energy के साथ, that's when we are belting out a song. And generally, whenever I belt out a song, people want me to shut up. Okay? Uh, one year, okay, a year before, I also envisaged myself in NLU Gujarat. But Ankit, don't worry. You still have an opportunity. Don't worry. Opposite of tepid? Tepid is basically lukewarm, Avi. So lukewarm का opposite क्या होगा? Cold, right? So I knew how to belt out a song and win over an audience. That means obviously this person must be a talented singer. Let me give you a great example here. Dua Lipa belted out her hits one after another in the Grammys. right? So that means singing very loudly with a lot of enthusiasm. And moving forward to the article of the day, I chose to basically bring forth an article which was very relatable to most of you because you guys must be into listening to songs, music without borders. On the Grammys. The Grammys were a celebration of women singers, past and present. That means we saw something like the death of patriarchy here, in a way. And women singers got a lot of recognition and acknowledgement. So, as you can see, I'm not really going to read out every single name that's been mentioned here, but let me tell you in a very general way what's going on. One Direction is great at belting out in a good concert. It's hard for me to not belt out whenever I listen to Chase Atlantic or 21 Savage. Okay, Aryan, so you are a fan of Chase Atlantic. Lovely. So yeah, I'm not really going to read out every single thing because let me tell you in a very general way what's going on in this particular passage. So here they are primarily highlighting the significant moments and all the achievements at the 66th annual Grammy Awards, as you can very well see. और यहाँ पे बहुत सारे singers का नाम दिया हुआ है ठीक है so many iconic artists they got a lot of recognition in these Grammys and especially what's to be mentioned here that the women singers they were praised left right and center so it discusses about the performances of Joan Mitchell, Tracy Chapman, as you can very well see, Annie Lennox, and also it also emphasizes the enduring impact of their music. Enduring impact of their music का मतलब बहुत simple सा है, and that means a person or a singer or a talented artist will only be evergreen if people of every generation can relate to them. For example, अगर how many of you love Sonu Nigam? My favorite Jagjit Singh Ji's belted out. Okay, Priya, we'll be changing a little bit of grammar there. So my favorite singer, Jagjit Singh Ji, belted out my favorite song, and the audience showed a lot of interest and energy. ठीक है? So yeah, coming back to अरिजीत सिंह या अगर हम बात करें सोनू निगम की, आप इनके गाने अगर 10 साल बाद भी सुनोगे, you will still be able to connect with it. ठीक है? So I think most of us are fans of Sonu Nigam, I think. Hands down, he is one of the most talented singers that Indian film industry has ever seen. And कई सालों पहले he has made his debut and still he's so relatable, right? But yeah, Naman, you also know him, right? That's what makes him iconic because people of all generations kind of connect with him. So the same way, अगर हम बात करते हैं somebody's enduring impact of music, it means from years this person has been the mass favorite. ठीक है? Additionally, it also mentions the recognition received by females, blacks, Hispanic, and Indian artists at the event. ठीक है? फिर हम also सबकी favorite Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, Billie Eilish, SZA, and the Indian Fusion. बहुत सारे ऐसे singers थे उनको lot of praise and recognition मिला इस particular ceremony में. The passage also underscores, it basically means underscoring का मतलब होता है highlights. So the passage also underscores the importance of global recognition. देखो क्या होता है कि a singer is just doing his job, okay? When he is being featured in the films of his own native place. But when a singer gets global recognition, obviously the stature of the country also, hits the top with the singer. So it's basically like that. So Indian musicians, अगर आपको पता होगा जाकिर हुसैन, उनको I think 3 awards मिले हैं at the Grammys, if I correctly remember. And also, it shows the potential to collaborate with other countries. Okay, so overall, it celebrates the diversity, the talent which was showcased by some really famous singers at the Grammys, and they also highlighted the significant achievements of these female artists in this particular Grammys. तो यही हुआ था यहाँ पे, and that's basically what the summary is all about. अगर इसमें से कुछ नहीं समझ में आता है, let me know. So यहाँ पे हमें समझ में आता है कि first of all they kind of celebrated diversity. ठीक है? Secondly, they also celebrated the importance of coming together as artists. And also, uh, singers from several belts got the awards. I'm not just talking about the Indians, I'm not talking about the females, I'm not talking about the Hispanics. I'm talking about everybody got their respective recognition. And that's exactly what the award ceremony should be all about, right? It should be all inclusive. It should not just be limited to a particular class, okay, or a particular class of popularity. So anybody who is doing some mind-boggling work should actually get the recognition. बस यही था इस article में. And bagged is a very common word. When you bag something, it basically means you win it. ठीक है? Avi? No, 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 no. Wait. I'm just coming to it. By the way, the tone of this passage is celebratory, celebratory and acknowledging. Because you saw how the artists were praised from all nooks and corners of the world. So the tone was celebratory because we were actually talking about a celebration, and it also recognized the efforts of the different artists. तो ये tone है इस particular passage की. कितने लोग थे जिनको already पता था the meanings of these two words? से पहला मेन आइडिया तो ये है it highlighted the diversity by acknowledging diverse artists. Secondly, underscored, that means again highlighted, underscored the importance of collaboration. ये भी मेन आइडिया है. ठीक है? And what else? Significance of female artists. So these were the part of main idea in this particular passage. Now let me take you to the new segment. Although we did not really discuss all these articles, but yeah, अगर किसी ने already पढ़ा है, because probably you might have discussed it with your GK teacher, right? So the first one has been taken from Winning Trust on Jharkhand's Political Storm. Okay? And I would like to ask you what was the tone of the passage. Does anybody know? So you might have seen how आप बोल सकते हैं how it delineated the Jharkhand's political stance here. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे incendiary, by the way, I don't think that you guys know the meanings of these difficult tone words, but yeah, let me just elaborate it for you. When something is incendiary, it is basically fiery or inflammable. For example, आपने देखा होगा some politicians, whenever they comment on something, it leads to controversy. So that is incendiary when it instigates rebellion. Okay? So something that instigates rebellion is your incendiary tone. अच्छा, किसी को indignant का मतलब पता है? What is the meaning of indignant? Any idea? Even if you do not know, not a problem. You can just tell me in the chat box. So when somebody is being indignant, that means they are furious. But I'm not simply talking about getting angry on something. Here we have some purpose. So, furious over an unjust practice. कुछ unlawful हो रहा है. कुछ अनफेयर हो रहा है, उस पे गुस्सा दिखाना, that is indignant, which did not really happen in the passage. It was simply information being provided about the Jharkhand's political storm. Also, they did discuss the pros and cons of the passage, so the answer is informative slash analytical. Okay? Yes, Ankit, enraged over a social injustice. Okay, it's not simply being angry over something, it's being angry with a purpose. Okay, commiserating. Now many people might know that commiserating means showing sympathy, but again this is an incomplete definition. Showing sympathy over the victims, so this and this is related, over the victims of unjust practice. For example, I generally give this example whenever I explain these two tones. So, आपने सती प्रथा के बारे में सुना होगा. सती प्रथा में क्या हुआ था basically? The women were subjected to kill themselves on the pyre of their husbands. So, do you guys think that it's actually a valid process? कि औरतों को भी मर जाना चाहिए आग में जल के? What do you think? Obviously no, right? So, you're feeling sorry for somebody who has been a subject of some wrongful act. ठीक है? That's basically when you are indignant. So, furious over the society, that's what makes you indignant. And showing sympathy towards the victims of Sati Pratha, the women, the poor women who lost their lives. That's when you are commiserating. अब समझ में आया? Empathetic towards the victims of Sati. So that's how we use it. ठीक है? So you have learnt three new tones here. The answer was informative and analytical, by the way, of this particular editorial. Let's move to the next one. Downloading child pornography is an offense. Obviously, uh, I would say the title itself यही झकझोर के रख देगा आपको, है ना? So, क्या लग रहा है तुम लोगों को टाइटल पढ़ के? You might not have read the article, but I think the title is enough to give you a general overview as to what this article must be all about. So, what do you think? I would like you to take your chances. By the way, let me explain. तुम लोगों को critical का मतलब तो पता ही है. Finding faults, right? And reminiscent. The answer is A. Very good. Good guess. From the title itself, I think it's enough. It's critical. Critical means finding faults with the process, as you can very well see. So you guys are all correct. Lovely. Reminiscent. Reminiscent, आप लोगों ने अपने दादा दादी नाना नानी को पुरानी जमाने की बातें करते हुए सुना होगा. सुना है कि नहीं सुना है? So, when they talk about the past fondly, to talk about the past fondly is when you are reminiscing something. आप बहुत अच्छी यादों के बारे में सोच रहे होते हो. Then you are reminiscent. But does that mean that you want to go back in the past and relive those memories? जैसे कि तुम लोग भी सोचते होगे ना कभी कभी कि बचपन में जब हम समर वेकेशंस को एंजॉय किया करते थे, इट वाज सो डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द समर वेकेशंस नाउ. अब सिर्फ समर वेकेशंस पढ़ाई करने में चले जाते हैं, isn't it? So there's a difference between nostalgic and reminiscent. Nostalgic हमने next वाले quiz में basically discuss किया है. So people kind of confuse the two terms. Reminiscent is when you're just talking about the past fondly, whereas when you are becoming nostalgic about something, you basically are desiring or longing for the past to come back again. So there's a difference. ठीक है? Anybody who knows the meaning of sanguine? Yes, to remember. Ankit, remember is more likely to be the definition. To remember the past. Sanguine का मतलब पता है? These days, they do not give you optimistic as the tone. They ask you what is sanguine. Optimistic, hopeful is also known as being sanguine. ठीक है? The answer is A, yes. Impassive. So I think you guys already know the meaning of objective. कोई मुझे बता सकता है objective का meaning क्या होता है? When you're objective about a particular subject matter, it means you don't voice your opinions. You don't talk about your opinions. You are neutral. Okay? So impassive actually means when you're being neutral. You don't take sides. Okay? You're just simply talking about something as a spectator. आप अपने व्यू पॉइंट्स वहां पे नहीं रख रहे हो. आया समझ में? सो इम्पैसिव का मतलब होता है नॉट शोइंग एनी इमोशंस, एग्जैक्टली दृष्टि, बीइंग ऑब्जेक्टिव और बीइंग न्यूट्रल. तो तुम लोगों ने न्यूट्रल के ही यहाँ पे 3 सिनोनिम्स देख लिए हैं, राइट? लेट्स मूव टू द लास्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर द डे. The source was equity concerns in banning fossil fuel extraction. What do you guys think? What could be the article's tone? Something that spits facts. Very good. Spitting facts. What does that mean? It also means spitting facts or probably informative. So the answer should be it means to long or desire the past. No, it's not ironical. Ironical का मतलब होता है when you expect the unexpected. Suddenly कुछ अलग ही हो गया, आप कुछ और ही expect करके चल रहे थे and something very different happened. ठीक है? So the answer is D. Yes, Anindya, you are correct. Expository or critical. Expository means informational. Ironical का मतलब होता है, let me give you a simple example. You guys must have read the story The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. Necklace किसी ने पढ़ी है 9th standard में? CBSE books में रहती है. The answer is D. So, in The Necklace, you might have also seen how the ending was unexpected. So basically, a twist in the tale is known as ironic ending. I generally give the example of the movie Bala. Bala who has no hair. ये हो गया ironic situation. Similarly, Khushi who is always dukhi. ठीक है? Or maybe Lakshmi who has no money. So these are all ironic situations. आया समझ में? And irony is generally in the situation itself. So it's not really pointed at people. It's basically how the situation is. The twist. ठीक है? आ गया समझ में? So the twist in the tale is known as ironical. Expecting the unexpected. आ गया समझ में? एक और एग्जाम्पल, तुम लोगों ने 3 Idiots देखी होगी. Chatur who is dumb. His actions are definitely dumb. A king with no land. ऐसे ही तुम लोगों को याद होगा 12th में एक स्टोरी है साहिब आलम की, CBSE बुक्स में. द नेम ऑफ दिस रैक पिकर, साहिब आलम, उसका मतलब होता है लॉर्ड ऑफ द यूनिवर्स, बट काम क्या करता है? वो कचरा उठाता है. सो ये भी एक आयरॉनिक नाम है. आया समझ में? ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट cynical. Cynical is basically a subcategory of critical only. Critical में ही आता है skeptical, skeptical में ही आता है cynical. And in Gen Z terminology, cynical basically means having trust issues. Exactly, Sanchit. So I think Gen Z can understand what trust issues are all about, right? Hashtag trust issues. That means when you doubt people's people's intentions, आपको लगता है कि दुनिया आपको धोखा देने ही बैठी है. You think that the people are selfish and they only work to gain something out of a situation. So when you doubt people for everything, that's you being cynical. Okay? Robber's car crash into the police station. Drishti, is that an example of skeptical? Acha, nahi, it's an example of ironical. Okay, okay, okay. Great. I understood now. So yeah, that's it from my side, everyone. And Aryan, no need to be pessimistic, be sanguine. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I hope you have learned something new today. Please utilize it, use this information, start, incorporating the words of your vocabulary. रोज तुम लोग इतना कुछ सीख रहे हो. So that's it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you. That's it from my side. Bye bye.